So let me show you a little bit of the images. Now this, I just put this on top, and it is a piece of some sort of like silky material that is like crushed, not crushed velvet, I don't know. But I sewn through it. I was doing something and it didn't turn out the way I liked it, and I cut this piece off, and then I did it again, whatever it is I was doing, and I was going to throw this out, but again, as you know, well, don't throw out anything because we can still cut bits and pieces of this. It has some sewing on it. It has like a double edge here and so on. It's still very, very usable. So actually I might use it in these tags. I'll put that in my little box here of these different materials that I'm going to be using. So now, as far as images and a little bit more of the papers that I've chosen, I went to the older books and just looked through. This is some kind of a dictionary, and it has some words. Well, it has legacy on it and leg. So this happens to be, I thought it was a little bit odd. So that's what I'm looking for, something a little bit odd. These are some sort of graphics of, looks like bird legs of different kinds. And it has letters on it, A, B, C. I like that. And just the illustration is a little bit odd. And so I think that would go good with the primitive tags. And then in the back, if I really want to use something else, I can use that as well. But for the most part, I wanted this for these illustration right here. And I just pulled out 2 pages from that book. I went to a few different books. So this one has a bird on it. It is just a bird still. I mean, that's nothing odd. But just the illustration itself, maybe I liked it a little bit of a different, other than, you know, a color picture image of a bird. This one here, also black and white. Flowers, which is more standard, having flowers, but I thought these images, just with the way the background looks, a little bit shadowy and with light, just a little bit different than your normal one. So I might use some of these somewhere as well. On the back is just writing, beautiful writing. This is from the Book of Knowledge, those very old encyclopedias. I do have a few of them. I'd like to get some more, but I'll see. You know, it's just when you go to the thrift store or somewhere, it's all the luck of the draw as far as what it is that you will find that day. It's not like I'll go to the thrift store and find a book of knowledge. It just depends on how the stars line up, I guess, on that day. Now, this one, I did go to my Transylvania book because they have a lot of these images of their handiwork as far as like the maybe kitchen cloths or pillows or their folk dresses that they wear and so on. So it had a lot of different designs on it, and I just chose a couple that I tore out. So I want everything to have a sort of a torn look. So it's not, this was a perfect square, but I don't need the perfect square. I just need a piece of it. Then over here I found bells. Well, they're not odd per se, but that's this little window on top, a little bit dark. I might use that for something. And not every image, you know, will end up on a tag, but at least I have some options. So I've put together a bunch of things, and then I will see. These are, well, trees, but this one, it has a wagon on the bottom, if you can see it. And I'm not sure if these are maybe gravestones, possibly, but I just like the way the trees lined up together. Something odd about that. So I don't know. I like odd things. This one was insects and bee, you know, a beetle and so on. So I might stick that on there somewhere. I like it. So let's say even, for example, over here where I don't have anything, I could stick the bee right on there as well, right? So this one is some sort of medallion. And in the back is, I don't know, something. And over here, some numbers. So I'll see what it is I might use, whether I actually use this or something on the back. Who knows? But, and then it has a kind of a name here, a little bit, maybe Latin or something. So a little bit something different. This one here is a nail, and then I'm not sure, a scorpion of some sort, but also something a little bit strange. Now, primitive doesn't mean it has to be strange, of course not, but that's the meaning for me. Something primitive, you know, that I don't see every day. So something a little bit unusual. Anyways, this is a press of some sort. Looks like olive oil press. And then it's got these beautiful vases here and the press itself too. I like it. I like the green color on it. And on the back, well, look at this. It does have a butterfly wing. I mean, just this piece, I could use that. And then it has a close-up of, what is this? You know, those things that make noise in the fields. What are they called? Oh my goodness, grasshoppers. Yes, that's it. So a very, very close-up of a grasshopper. I might possibly use the eye or something like that. This one, I like looking at what people are choosing also, so which is why I'm doing a whole segment on what it is I have chosen to work with in this case. This one, I like this here. I don't know, KRSL. It has some kind of Latin for Charles. Anyways, I do have Charles, my husband's name. Anyways, and then it has 2 coins or something up here, some heads and so on. So I might use something like that. I enjoy when there's something in the back as well, but not always, you know. Then this one is from that foreign book that I have. It is really, I believe, I don't know if it's Russian or something of that sort. As far as the language, it is some sort of Slavic language, not Croatian, but yeah, unfortunately, I guess maybe everybody's heard about Croatia. I had a bad earthquake this morning. My family's okay, thank goodness, and I think there's been no deaths, fortunately. And so this one, these little frogs, they're very, very cute. I don't know if they're primitive per se, but I like the painting, the very rustic kind of very simple painting. So I might use something out of this, and I might use the foreign language here as well. And then this, I might use each letter here separately or a piece of it, just because, well, we don't know what it really says on there. So it might draw in some interest, like, you know, what the heck does that mean? I don't know, but it's interesting. So this is another piece of it, of this language. Now this one comes from drawing book instruction as far as how to draw. Now I like the single little images. I'm kind of intrigued with each one. I would like to see what each one actually is all about. So I might use each one as a focus point with some of the other papers that I've chosen. Something to put on top. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but I might use a piece of it. This one, actually, maybe this one drew me in. The color, the rustic or the terracotta sort of color that drew me in for this one. And then in the back too, it has some heads, self-portraits, it says. So I might possibly use something like that. I like these over here. So that, and then, you know, when you pull out, this is a postage stamp book. Well, it says United States stamps here, but I think they're from all over. And, of course, since I already showed you that I have stamps that I'll be using. And then this one is in black and white illustrations. And then it has quite a few of different types. And I think each one might be interesting on its own. This one, for example, I really like this little house here. Cabin of some sort. This might be the cabin where Marlene lives from the journal I just did, King's Cross. And so there's some different things here on each side here. There's some sort of a hill or mountain over here. So I'll use that. And then I just pulled out 2 pages out of that wildlife over here, and then a beautiful lake over here, and so on. So, oh, here's another house. Yeah, houses are another thing. I really would like to do a whole journal just about the older homes, Victorian homes, Gothic homes, or even the colonial homes. I like those, or any kind of Georgian homes that I really like seeing, just looking at all the details on it. So I'd like to do a journal about that. Then this one is, I'm not sure what book this came out of. I think some sort of maybe a dictionary type or something. So this one, this is what drew me here. This kind of snaky image over here. A little bit unusual. I mean, this trees and greenery is okay, but this is quite unusual. So, and this as well. So I'll be trying to use some of that. And there's a bit of a map here I can use. And then, well, potatoes. The potatoes, yeah, they are odd the way they grow, I guess, down under the soil and right by the roots and so on, and all the leaves are outside. So yeah, I might use some of that, and then I have some greenery here if I choose to use that. Then this is just, you know, just your average songbook page, but on the back I also have the little keys here as well, piano keys, and that is more usual, but that's like I might use that for the background and so on. This one I have a book about these illustrations or photos of old boats, some boats that I don't know, they might be more famous for some reason, or there is a little bit of a bio about each one. But this one stood out to me just a little bit different, the way its sails are and so on. So I might use, you know, not the whole ship, obviously, but I might use a little piece of it somewhere. So this one here is just regular paper, but I like the brown. You know, when you buy a bag of potatoes, on the outside it's made of two layers of this sort of thicker paper, and this is the outside one, the lighter colored one. So I chose some of that. I just love this light brown color, so I'll be using some of that. And then this just came from some kind of a bag, so it is a double layer, which I'll try to, it's a little bit thick, could use it as it is. But I'm going to try and peel off a little bit. I just like the green squares on top here. So I cut up the bag. I'm not sure if it was broken, whatever. So I'm going to use one of these pieces that I kept. This one is from a book I have. It's more about home decoration, home decorating and so on. Very nice book. But I love the pages. They are matte. They're all matte, not the shiny pages. And when I do pick up books, I do try to look for matte pages, or this is a little bit thicker too, the thickness. So this could be a tag on its own as far as the thickness. I could cut out a piece of it and just make it right into a tag. It's fine like that. But I do like the torn look over here where you can see white. So I'm not going to be you know, staining that with ink. I'm not going to ink that in any way. I do like the tone look where you see the white edges. So I really just want this for the darkness here, and then tear it up and then get this kind of look all around. And then I'll use little pieces of it. I might still use, you know, the actual flower and the vase here and so on. But for the most part, I just want a little bit of a darker look with this torn edge look here. Then I found a really old book with a very well stained, naturally stained paper. So I might use that in some of the writing, or if I see a word I like on it. This one is not as old as far as the age of the paper, but I like the font on here, and I like the words. So I might be using some of that. Then this one is from a children's book, and I don't know if you might use the bear or just the birds or even the trees over here. Something from it. I don't know. Just attracted me. I looked up what I could use here. And there definitely could be one of these images that I could use. Or this is a larger font over here or print. So I could be using a single word on here as well. Voices, home, you know, whatever it is I might figure out. Bluebird. This is just plain, you know, shopping bag that I've cut up. So anytime I have paper bags, I don't throw them out. I just flatten them out and I will stack them up. And then I use this all the time. It's one of the staples. Really, a book page. And this is one of the most often papers that I will use. And then maybe the music sheet, and then maybe something like this, and so on. Then this is something that I was painting on top of. So I was doing other artwork with that metallic paint that I like. And this was just the underneath sheet, which normally, you know, you would throw out. But not in this case, of course, as you know. I do keep that, and I'm thinking, well, I can still use pieces of this. Why can't I? It's got beautiful coloring on here of different colors, and very rustic for me here in this area, and but still subtle color. So I'm going to use some pieces of that I kept. Now this is just a map. I chose it has the blue, which maybe not so rustic or something for this, but it does have a lot of the brown, which I would like to use. So I'm going to use that. And then this is just from, you know, when you buy the copy paper, this was the wrapper. And then see, I did use it. I used it up on some of the die cuts that I was using for something else. But it does have these darker and lighter yellow that I might use here or there for a spot of color. Now over here, this one is from a book called Lost Civilizations, and it's the best book ever. It does have this beautiful matte paper, and it is a little bit thicker. So you could, again, make a tag just out of this. It's already firm enough, and just, you know, by the time you put some coffee stain paper on the back or some kind of paper for writing, you're good to go on this. But I chose this one because of the different, odd, primitive, whatever you might like to call it, architecture for in this case. So I might use bits and pieces of this, either as background or central focus or so on. And then it has this one here in the back as well that I can use. So either one is good as something more odd to use. Then this is also from the same book, but this one has some skulls on it, and this here is really what was interesting and a little bit different. So this won't be, you know, your regular flower and so on tags, but a little bit different. And that doesn't mean that I can't put a flower on top, just like I did over here, right? I might add the flowers after the fact, but the bottom will stay a little bit more simple. So that's from that, and that's still from the same book. Now these are color pages. They are a little bit shiny, as you can tell. And but I might still use some pieces of it because, well, very interesting here, and even the detail right on that. And then these as well, and these vases. Now, of course, I won't be using the whole vase. I'm just going to use pieces of it as I see fit, as I see that it might fit onto my tag. And then over here, something interesting as well. And okay, so these are, I printed out some of my own digital pages that I put together. And sometimes I like to put a ledger piece on the tag, so I might use that. Or a little bit of green leaves or a little bit of flower you know, it won't be all about the flower, but in the background I could use it. So I printed this for some of the lettering and ledger paper and so on. And I believe that's the same, or maybe I think I used the same images just in a little bit different positions. So this one has a little bit more ledger here. So when I make these and then I fold them over to put them into my journal, then I have a piece of ledger, something to write on over here, and I have a piece over here. And otherwise, I just have the beauty around it to look at. But I like to make these so that you have a little bit of spot to write on as well. This one also has spaces here and here to write on, and here as well. And here I have some print that I could use, a little bit of flower and so on. So this is just another one that I put together just for my own use. I want to put out, I only have one digital kit so far, and I want to put more. However, I haven't had the time really to make too many of those. And then this is just something I scanned. Some of the lace things that I have, some doilies with a little bit of leaves. That's still from last year, of course, because we don't have leaves right now, but hopefully soon. And then this, I have used these in some of the pockets and tags from some of the long ones that I've done. I'm not sure. They might be in one of my kits in my Etsy shop. So, and then this one I made quite a while back with all the different pieces of paper. So if I'm out of something, then I can just go here and print something that I might want. And of course my Canadian geese are right there. And this is just if I really want a little bit more color. These pages are just something I printed of my own photography of flowers, of the details. So if I really feel like I'm missing some kind of color in a spot, I might choose something, just a bit of something here. So these are all the papers that I have chosen and I might work with. I'm not, you know, obviously I'm not going to use everything, but I will try to use most of it and see how I can put this together. So this is just sort of like an introduction of what kind of papers I might be using for primitive slash rustic tags that we're going to be doing in this video. So let me just put this together for a minute, and then we're going to go on to the next part. Let me see. So let me just finish here, and then we'll continue in the next part.